Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about the other feature of patch 5.11 that we didn't get to talk about last week, the restoration of Ishgard. And kind of the things that came along with it, because it's created a lot of discussion around things that we haven't talked about in quite a few months. But let's start the show, because I'm a tired boy and I can't do the intro properly. I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Pope. Of course, joining me is Sly, aka Slythefox, aka Sly, aka Greyfox, aka you, my boy Blue. How you doing, Sly?
Why are you so tired?
Because it's been a roller coaster the past few weeks, all right? It's been an absolute roller coaster. I got another cup of coffee here because I only had 3. Ring Fit's been draining my energy, and this one's sedated and it's making me sleepy. Isn't that right, Aloha? Well, he's not sedated. He's coming off anesthetic, but he was sedated. And I had to watch him trip around and try to figure out how life works, pretty much, and how his back legs work as well. Some great videos of that on Twitter. But how you doing, Sly?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, getting ready for the move and everything. Thanksgiving's this week, so it's an excuse to be fat and fucking lazy, and yeah.
I finished I'm on day 24 of Ring Fit, and you're like, an excuse to be fat. I'm like, I don't want that excuse. I'm doing all right with my Ring Fit right now.
Yeah, I applaud you. I highly applaud you. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, I just got this really good turkey and everything, and
I like the idea that the Legion of Doom is celebrating Thanksgiving. And our non-American watchers are like, what is he talking about? What is that? All right. Well, anyway, Sly, we've got a show to start, but we got a few things to start the show with, other than just our normal sponsor shout out. One, we were supposed to do Eorzivia this week. However, for those not aware, Ethys has been crazy busy. If you haven't been listening to him when he's been on the show previously, he's in the process of making a fairly large move. And so his availability hasn't been as high. So I would say, please wish him the smoothest of moves, so that way we can have him back in one condition and he can make us look as dumb as he always does. So, and then on top of that, Sly's got to move, so we probably won't have a show one of the upcoming weeks as well. So it depends on how that week plans out. We don't know for certain that week will be canceled yet, but we know at the very least that we'll leave the idea open.
Yeah, I'll keep you abreast of the situation, like everybody. So.
Yeah, and I wish you the smoothest of moves, although I'll get to say that again next week.
Thank you. Not next week. What is it?
Well, I said I'll say it again next week.
Yeah.
And then because then I think we have 2 more shows before you'll move, probably. Because you'll move after, you're moving in 2.5 weeks, and we'll,
Yeah, I'm moving in the middle of the 14-hour broadcast.
Yes, which we will talk about, because we probably need to remind people that is coming up soonish, in about 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. All right. And of course, we have to do our normal sponsor shoutouts. Of course, we have the patrons who have been supporting through thick and thin in the last several years, months, years, whatever it may be. Thank you to all of them. We'll be doing a follow-up shout-out for that later in the show. And we have Steel Series, our, more, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess they another sponsor. We got hardware and stuff. I don't know. They're cool. Just like our patrons. Yeah, they got things. And we do giveaways with those things. There's monthly giveaways. And there's one of those under State of the Realm. Which, by the way, I did poll a winner for anyone who's wondering who won the October one. And it was somebody who I see around the program quite frequently. Cool Casual Gamer.
Congrats, Casual.
Yes. So congratulations. I'll be reaching out to you after the show today. You're the winner of the October one, and the November one will probably be going pretty deep into December because of the 2-week break that we actually had. So congratulations to Cool Casual Gamer for winning. And you guys should enter because it's free stuff. And if you don't plan on entering, well, don't forget, Black Friday's coming up. And if you type !Steel Series in the Twitch chat or scroll under the YouTube video, Might be able to support the stream. There might be a sellout emote coming on Twitch, too. Just little heads up. And we got plenty more emote slots coming up because we get cheer emotes soon. So, that'll be fun. Please be on the lookout for that. And with that, Sly, I think we can finally start talking about Final Fantasy XIV this show. We could also talk about the 7 Remake stuff and, whatever else is going on. We got Kingdom Hearts Remind coming out next month. Sword and Shield just came out, not too long ago. We can talk about those things if you want.
Yeah, we can talk about some things.
All right. Well, let's...
Yeah, but let's keep it on 14.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
It's a 14 show.
Yeah. So because this was kind of not really impromptu, but the expectation was that it was going to be Eorzivia this week initially. We don't have a guest prepared, so we're not going to dive too much into the crafting aspect of Ishgard. It is primarily a crafting piece of content, and we can speak on it to some degree, but any sort of complexities or the simplification of the crafting system is probably not much up our alley to dive into specific advice-related things. Mostly just dealing with like how it's been received, and what it's actually kind of meant for Final Fantasy XIV in the last few weeks.
Right.
Have you done any crafting since the changes before we even talk about Ishgard?
I sure have. I can say for a fact that like the crafting, like the day I took the time to reset my hotbars because there were a lot of abilities that I don't have anymore, and it actually didn't take as long as I thought it would because I did the whole copy pasta of like somebody had to
the macro.
The little macro, the text macro that you type to copy your hotbars, because basically most of the abilities throughout all the crafters are the same. And did that, then started doing crafting. I'm like, okay, I feel like it's day one of when I started crafting because kind of had to refigure out certain things. And I think a lot of people have that same experience too. And it was refreshing actually. It felt good to kind of not hit one button, listen to music, talk to people, yada yada yada. No, just figure out everything. And you missed those macros? I mean, like, okay.
No, I don't miss the macros. There's just newer ones now.
Yeah, I was about to say there are newer ones now. You can use those macros, but like, it was fun to actually kind of like, I hate to fucking say this. It was fun to raw dog it. It was fun.
So you're basically comparing day one before reading a macro to almost like doing a new piece of content day one, like a new dungeon or a new trial or something.
Yeah.
For the 5 minutes before somebody figured out what a macro was, it clearly was very exciting for you.
Yeah, it was. It was refreshing. Like, hey, like this is fun. Like, and it's not as convoluted because crafting was a little bit convoluted without macros, and people kind of heavily relied on the macros. It's not as convoluted as it was before. Like, if you look at the abilities, kind of take a little bit of prior knowledge of what you knew, and then add it to what we know now about the skills. Anybody can figure out anything, and you can like HQ anything.
I'm sure that's true for someone who's crafted something at some point in the last 4 years. I'm sure it would be.
Oh yeah, Mr. Hey, Tequila, can you craft this for me, please?
I gave him 40 million gil to make all those items. I didn't
exactly.
I was doing was fueling the workforce. Okay, I paid for his housing stuff that he grabbed, later on.
Mm-hmm.
I am just providing. I'm putting money back into circulation. Okay,
That's what we're calling it.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Haps, have you tested out the new crafting? Have you done any? Wait, what? Huh? What?
Those items from Ishgard aren't really that expensive on the market board. Those items from Ishgard, it's really great that they're not that expensive from the market board, I was just thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't bought any of them yet, but...
Yeah,
I'm really glad. What was the question?
Mm-hmm.
What was the question?
Mm-hmm.
Just I didn't hear. What was?
Yeah. Have you crafted anything? Yeah.
Have I what?
Have you crafted anything?
I'm sorry, I'm going through a tunnel. I can't hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you can try asking me again later, I suppose. That way I might not be going through a tunnel at that time. Because I can hear you fine now, but every time you ask it, just these tunnels, they just keep happening.
Yeah. So, yeah, about those, so about those crafts, like,
Well, I was busy with another piece of content for several weeks, so let's just say it was low on my priority list, and I'll get to it.
Yeah, eventually.
Which I actually do. No. I actually really do want to, because now I wasn't even afraid of it before. I just didn't care. Now I care, and it's easier.
Wait. What's the difference between then and now to make you care?
Because I was never gonna make any. Like I have a reason to go to Ishgard, because I like to try and get those things without just going to the market board and buying them. Like, a good example of that is even going back to Palace of the Dead with the Black Pegasus system out. Like, if I didn't get that the first time I went over 450, that would have been one of my primary goals. It's the same with, like, the jackets and the leathers from treasure maps, or, like, the minions. I could just buy 200 million gil. I could buy any of that shit if I really wanted to. But I'd rather not. I'd rather just actually get it from the content, because it's then me participating in content as opposed to skipping to the end of Ishgard being like, well, the end goal was the lean emote. Luckily, that's like 1.1 mil or whatever the hell it is right now. That's it. That's the only reason. That's why I do actually care. And also, I'm actually more interested in 5.2 for the gathering elements, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I've always been more of I've always partook more in gathering than crafting. This is the first expansion I haven't really done too much gathering right at the start. So it's been very different for me, this expansion, not doing that immediately. But I do have minor and botany at 80 and fuck fishing. Anyway.
Fishing's like the simplest fucking thing, and you say fuck fishing.
Yeah, but I don't want it. Remember when I said there's a difference between caring and not caring? Yeah, one of them, I don't care about fishing. I could pay Tequila to go get me fish to get me from 56. I could fucking even spear fishing. I could do leaves if I really wanted to.
Fuck, I don't even think you even spearfish in 70 through 80 to level. I didn't.
I don't know. I don't care. Just hand me some fish. I'll go level it to 80.
I mean, this is literally give a man a fish, teach a man to fish.
No, this is give a man a fish, he'll give it to somebody else and level up. That's what it is. You wanna know what's funny about that? The only reason my fisher is 56, Mel gave me leaf kit items all the way. She leveled it, like actually fishing 1 to 50, and she gave me all the extras that were for leaves. It's the only reason it's even 56.
Fucking terrible.
I don't even know how she got it to 56. I don't think I ever tried to go past 50, but whatever. Either way, with Ishgard, we've seen a lot more, I guess, talk about crafting and gathering between that and the changes, and people have had a couple of weeks to pull apart and dissect the introduction to Ishgard, and it's been met with anywhere between lukewarm to can't wait for 5.2, I guess, is the gauge we'll use it on. Lukewarm, meaning people were hoping it was going to be a lot more involved. And I can't wait till 5.2, meaning, oh my god, this is so easy to level everything now. And then I can't wait to partake in the next part where, you know, we can actually partake in the upgrade process because it's not broken. Or crowded. Broken. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Both. Yes.
Yeah. I like the chat. The State of the Realm has turned into Happy doesn't do anything. No, I just don't craft, gather, or fish, and that happens to be the first topic of the show. Why do you think we normally bring on Ash? If it wasn't like such a impromptu plan to do this,
that would be the shortest show. It would just basically be, well, fuck, crafting's dead. It's so fucking simple. Why the fuck do you even need a macro? Go make.
That's why I haven't wanted to, because the time difference between us, he has to be up at like 3-4 in the morning to do this show. I'm like, I'm not gonna make that man be awake at 3 in the morning just to tell us this shit's easy. Here's your macro. See you next week on State of the Realm. Yeah, but that being said, there's been a lot of discussions being risen up about Ishgard, both in the ease of the crafting and gathering leveling through that and other, changes that they made in regards to EXP acquisition, the world visit system, as well as looking forward to patch 5.2, which Yoshi P actually made a post clarifying some things after the first few days, I believe, for Ishgard Restoration. This post comes from, let me see if I can get the exact, from November 13th. At 9:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And in that post, he first talks, and this will be the first topic that we really dive into, the world visit system, which we've had since just before Shadowbringers came out. We've gotten very familiar with it, its limitations and its possibilities. And while there's been a few snafus up till now, I don't think anyone's really had any major complaints about it. It was fairly well received.
Yeah, agreed.
That's been called slightly more into question as the expansion has kind of continued to go on, not just in Ishgard, but in one other piece of content, which we'll dive into once we're done talking about Ishgard. So, Sly, did you try doing the crafting fates, or the concerted works, as they were called?
I sure did.
Did you? Now, when I say try, okay, so I was going to say, you actually did get
I actually got in. I timed it right. Like, this is the first day I timed it right. Got back in. Didn't have any problems getting in. It was crowded as fuck. It was a little bit like during the concerted work is a little bit hard to see because there were a fuck ton of people. But yeah, like it was fun. I kind of picture it as remember when you got into Fortuna for the first time in Warframe, and you saw that whole scene we all lift.
Yeah,
it was like that, but you're just building a barn. So. Combine those two.
little bit less, a little bit lower on the scale, I suppose.
Yeah, we all lift a fucking barn, pretty much.
And so you got in, you got to do it. I heard that it's basically a free level for anyone who was able to participate,
or free couple of levels, according to some people, if you're like lower. Yeah.
But it was something that a lot of people could participate in, but a lot of people doesn't mean everyone. Is what was very quickly figured out. Something people were genuinely concerned about before Ishgard came out did indeed come to fruition. With the world visit system, players from other worlds were coming to, regardless of population, other worlds that had concerted works that were going to be happening, and essentially clogging the server so that the people on the server couldn't actually get into the concerted works and participate in their own server's reconstruction.
You know why?
Why?
It goes back to two words. Free fucking chicken.
That's 3 words, Sly. You added a fucking in there.
Take out the second. Yeah, take out the second.
Yeah, it was free chicken. People just wanted to participate in the work, get the free level, whatever it is they were there for, and move on to the next one. It also didn't help that they told you like way in advance that a concerted work was going to be happening at a specific time. As opposed to it being something.
8 hours in advance. 8 hours.
I thought it was up to 8 hours in advance. Was it actually always 8 hours in advance? I thought it was up to 8 hours in advance.
I think it was I think the cap was 8 hours.
Yeah, that sounds approximately right to me. Yeah. So because of that, it caused a great deal of friction, not just between the players themselves, but between the players and the content that it actually was. People talking about, get rid of world visit system, disable it for this, add a new limitation. And at first that wasn't a thing. What, Sly? How you feeling?
We have one snafu and people already want to get rid of world visit, which is
this is not the first snafu with world visit. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay. It's the first big snafu in my opinion. The other one, I think I know where you're going.
I think you know where I'm going too.
In comparison,
I'd say this is definitely the worst of the two. I'll agree with you.
Yeah, it outweighs it. Yeah.
So it says it's 2 hours from the moment the bar is full, then 8 hours of cooldown before you can fill the bar again. So technically, if you're actually knowing a concerted work is going to happen, you have a 2 hour heads up.
Yeah, you do.
So because of this, Yoshi P actually had to go make a post over on the forums on the 13th of November, which is a whole 13 days ago as of this recording, stating that, why they initially allowed it. And this isn't a surprise. They expressed this in the live letter prior. but he gave more specifics. The number of crafters and gatherers vary considerably between worlds. The worlds with the most crafters and gatherers have over 4 times as many as those with the least. Worlds with low numbers of crafters and gatherers would struggle to carry out concerted works without visitors from other worlds, creating a risk that those players would not be able to experience the content as intended. That was why the world visit system was made available to this content the first time around. Mm-hmm. That didn't last very long. By the time I think the next day had rolled around, they had put into, as they've described here, emergency measures to make sure that world visit system was no longer allowed to be used specifically for participating in concerted works. You had to be on the server the concerted works were taking place in. So that means they even say this, they were very, very aware and prepared for this outcome, it seems.
When this content was introduced, wasn't it introduced as kind of like competitive crafting, like server to server, world to world?
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit because that deals with some of the future features we're going to be dealing with. And luckily, Yoshida did cover the actual 5.11 implementation of Ishgard versus the future 5.2x, 5.3x, etc., implementations. And that's a whole topic on its own that we can dive into. But what essentially the world visit system doesn't work. And now it doesn't matter because all the concerted works are done on all the servers. So now anyone just doing Ishgard has already built their servers, Ishgard up to the firmament up to the point it's allowed to for this patch. And now people are just retrieving the rewards by handing items in for the various scripts. That's where we kind of sit right now with Ishgard. So before we dive into any of the specifics, was this the implementation you thought it would be? Did you think it would just be these concerted works done, few days, and then that's it, just hand in items? I don't know if you had any sort of higher expectations for the initial implementation.
I definitely did have higher expectations. I did the concerted works. It was fun. I'm like, okay, is there more? Is there like actual, competitive crafting? No. You're just
not yet.
Not yet.
Like
my expectation was that it was like that was going to be it from the gate. Like not only this, but competitive crafting, like leaderboards, things like that.
No. Do you think that there were enough concerted works? There were 2? I don't know how many there were because again, I was in Ultimate. I don't know how many there were per server. So this is actually like I don't know.
You would blink. Okay, you did a concerted works.
Okay, 3 concerted works.
Yeah, so you would do the first one, blink. The first part of Ishgard's done. Like that's it.
Damn.
Yeah. Like somebody had to tell me, "Hey, Sly, it's done, right?" I'm like, wait, what?
Well, I'm seeing 3, but I'm seeing that they had 2 steps, or there were 2 per steps. Each of them has 2 steps. There we go. So 3 or 6, it seems, would be the accurate. And I'm not sure. I'm getting a few varied answers from my chat.
And that just goes to show, like, for North America, that the graveyard shift really does hold it down when it comes to concerted works. Jesus Christ.
The Waffle House crew?
The first day the Waffle House crew. Like, the first day I said exactly, like, dude, that graveyard shift is going to have to, like, really hold it down. I hope a lot of y'all motherfuckers going to be up. Because that shit happens in 8 hours. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be fucking asleep. Please handle this shit. And... yeah, they held it down, apparently.
Yeah. I really wish I'd gotten to be a part of it. I'm actually afraid that Ishgard's always going to release alongside, either an Ultimate content or a Savage. Like, I'm genuinely afraid that's going to happen, and I'm almost never going to get to participate. Because it's always going to be lower on the totem pole for me. And just going in afterwards and maybe picking up the items with the scripts. But that you kind of brought... So... You kind of brought up something before I asked you about the concerted works, if there were enough of them, and that you had expectations that stuff like the leaderboards and other things would be available earlier on. This is something that kind of delves into a topic we are also going to dive into later in anticipation for upcoming content, in the idea of releasing content in its most basic form and then expanding upon it throughout various patches. This is something that it technically began with the Relic in the Zodiac way back when, where they give us everything step by step, but we then started to see it more and more with various contents, even the first implementation of the Diadem when they initially planned to do a whole series of exploration content. the base form of Onimos and Pagos both being kind of decided that they were going to be that way before player feedback was taken into account, and then it was built after that. We've seen it now with this. We've seen it with Blue Mage. We've seen this is not a new thing for the Final Fantasy XIV development team to release something in a basic form and with the promise of additional features to come later. And I feel like Ishgard aside, is this work? Have we determined if this is an okay thing to do at this point, as opposed to just waiting and releasing something in a fuller form right from the get-go?
Well, it all boils down to every patch we need shit to do.
That's true.
So yeah, like release it in waves. I mean, there'll be a portion of the community that doesn't accept it. They want everything like then and there, and then even then after the fact, even in a completed form, they want more. Yeah, I'm okay with content released in waves. It gives us something to look forward to.
So with that being said, with what we've received in this first patch, would you have done something different? I'm seeing people saying that concerted work should have continued even after it was completed, just for the sake of having, concerted works.
Continued how, though?
As in, they still appear, but they're no longer part of the actual building of Ishgard. You're just either doing basic maintenance or something along those lines.
But would still give like the same.
Still used for leveling. Still used for what anything.
Yeah, I'll be okay with that. I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, because I think it's okay. It's okay to be okay with it, but I think there's still some criticisms or something constructive that can be, no pun intended, that could be derived from. Yeah, it's like, come on, that one really isn't me. That's not fair.
Low hanging.
No, that one's not me, because I said constructive, meaning constructive, and that's not fair. That's not one of those puns that you get to be like, oh, that's not you. No, you can't do that. That's not fair. Fine. Yeah, and chat's bringing up things along the lines of, like, if releasing it in its base form comes with the advantage of seeing how we, the player, will ruin it. Being able to plan around that in the future. And you know what? That is accurate. We have seen that with, obviously NM trains and Onimos, and then Blue Mage with the solo leveling method that got patched out, which won't be available this next time around. And now with the World Visit system. What was that eye roll for?
Thank God.
Oh, that the self-leveling thing is
Blue Mage. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it has worked that way. We have actually gotten some pretty critical player feedback and adjustments going in future bits because they're released in forms like this. But I mean, I know another way that we could achieve that, though, Sly.
What's that?
Test realms.
How many shows has it been since we brought up fucking test realms?
Listen, I'll bring up a test realm anytime. I only want test realms for features that are brand new and are untested, with how the player base will respond to them. I don't want it for like raids, dungeons, anything else. I just want it for shit that's like, there's nothing else like this in the game. Give us some feedback before we release it, yada yada yada. That's it. I don't want anything else in the Fellowships. Listen, I don't know how they would have tested that, but man, is it comedy gold in Fellowships.
It is. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Job changes. That would be a big dude. Some of them would probably not be what it is now if there were test rounds.
Okay. So the idea of a test realm, like the concept of test realm, is new to me since I'm kind of the baby. I'm kind of the baby here. Who would have access?
Well, that depends largely on how they want to do it, because some companies handle test realms by allowing basically people to apply for the test realm, and then they look at your kind of like character pedigree and they determine, how much experience you have, what your activity kind of looks like. They basically do a dissection of your activity in the game to determine if it's something you really need. Other companies just allow you to make a test account. And honestly, a lot of people don't bother doing it, but they do follow whatever happens on test realms. That's especially true with World of Warcraft, where literally a patch is let's finish it in a week, and then every time a test realm updates, that's the content that people like. Either that's the thing people play on, make videos on, etc., etc.
Right.
Yeah. It's just that I'm of the. I would like it to, if we did get one, I'd want it to be very controlled. I wouldn't want, again, no raids, no story, no dungeons.
Controlled, because
controlled. Like, I mean, literally, like I'd be okay if it was like Lakeland and Crystarium are the only two zones you can go to. There's dummies for you to hit with
kind of like a build like what we got at the
Mediator. Yeah. Essentially like a Mediator build that has like one instance that you could, that's an old instance to queue into to test job changes, and like maybe a teleport to a new. That's it. That's all I would want out of a fucking test realm.
Even then, I feel like people would dig so much, especially data miners would dig so much into that.
I mean, that's the files need to not be in there is the biggest problem, or they need to be encrypted better. That would be the only way around that. Or it needs to be so limited that the number of people, the odds of that happening are so low, which is, I don't think is great, because I think you really want.
But that's heavy limitations.
That's a lot of limitations, yeah.
That's a lot of limitations. So it'd basically be at the same point of not even having a test room to begin with. Like it would be a really bare bones test room.
I just want it.
So you would rather have a really bare bones test room?
Yes.
And you'd be okay with that?
Yes, for job changes and for stuff.
I don't think you would be completely okay with that. I really don't.
I would.
Okay.
I can tell you right now that following test realm information in some other games that like I follow but don't always play is actually a genuinely exciting thing. But some games, one in particular that I'm sure everyone can think, goes too far with how much information is available in the test realms. Right. That becomes the primary problem. I do think that it can be a bad thing if there's too much.
Right.
So
I mean, we already have an issue with leaks and everything to begin with.
Yeah. So I would that's it. That's all I would want. Yeah, WoW might be the one I'm referring to. That is way too much information and way too much in the test realm. And then it doesn't work on launch anyway. You know, the usual. Although, to be fair, that can happen, because test realms, there's always way fewer people on a test realm than people using a feature live. So getting it properly tested is still kind of even with a test realm. It really becomes more of a PR statement, a test realm after a little bit of time goes on. But yeah, so I'm just saying that we can keep doing it the way we're doing, where we get the base form, or we could, provide that kind of feedback in advance, and then they could take that information and release it, not even all the way completed, but like fuller, fuller. Yeah. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I just really want test realms for job changes above all else. I think job changes would be the biggest thing. Because we get a job change every 4 months, and then we provide feedback, and we wait 4 months, and then eventually it's like, well, next expansion is coming, so I guess we'll just stop now. Next expansion is coming. Just give them some Band-Aid shit. We'll fix it up when we rework it next expansion.
Yeah.
So I'd like to avoid that, ideally, if we possibly could. All right, so with us covering specifically the form at which Ishgard released, going back to the world visit system, this has been a very not hot topic since it was first released back before 5.0.
I'd say hot topic.
I'd say this is the hottest it's been.
Yeah.
Because this was something that more varieties of players were encountering a problem with than the problems we've had with the CrossWorld stuff in the past. So prior to this, the only real feature I saw people getting contestable about, and they still kind of do, is hunting. Because CrossWorld hunts have completely changed the landscape of the way that hunts work. And for people who are on lower-end PCs or PS4s, that amount of activity can actually render it pretty difficult content to follow. Or it just becomes so overwhelming to try and stay a part of it that you're either just following along or you're a part of it all the way. And it's all-consuming. So, I don't know. I don't know how Primal's hunt scene is. I don't know how much hunting you do compared to me, because I do a lot.
Not a fuck ton. Like, I used to do a lot of hunting. Now, nah.
I've got like 600 grade 8 materias. I know people with like 2,500 grade 8 materia, like the Stella clusters and shit, and like 3,000 plus grade 7s just sitting in their inventory. It's crazy. So, Sly, what are you making that face for?
Fuck.
So what you're saying is you wish you had more materia.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And I think the big point with the world visit system kind of comes in his statement: worlds with low numbers of crafters and gatherers would struggle to carry out considered works without visitors. The same goes for hunts during off hours or hunts on servers with lower populations. I've been on like Zalera when hunts are up, and the only way I got them done is by asking my friends to come do them. That may not happen anymore, but when I played on Zalera, that was the only way I got hunts done. So, do you feel that it's worth having the world visit system have these kind of problems, and for them to maybe be something we see more frequently if they don't have emergency measures always on the ready? Is it worth having that?
Now, currently, yes. I mean, I feel like, because we knew when world visit was talked about, we knew we talked about the possibilities, and like not only market board but hunts and doing other shit, and we
Treasure
maps, like we always go in with these expectations, and like we all saw this coming. I feel like we all saw this coming, and I feel like we as a community had more foresight than I guess the devs in a way.
I don't know. I mean, the fact that they had this emergency shutdown measure ready to go, and they didn't pull the trigger on it immediately, but they had it ready. They even say they had the fear, like in case this kind of thing happened, they were prepared.
Right.
Which I gotta commend the devs. As years have gone on, the amount of their preparation for situations like this has improved so much. I mean, you could see that from the launch from Stormblood to Shadowbringers, even. Like they've gotten a lot better at foreseeing that these kind of things can and probably will happen, at least in North America, where we love to ruin everything.
But the elephant in the room, the question remains: like, what with World Visit? What do we limit? What do we allow to kind of stay free?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's never a good enough reason to get rid of it, but there's always reasons to restrict it. And that's the problem.
Reason to restrict it.
That's the problem, though, because it could be the exact same. I mean, we see it with this. This could be the exact same feature at two different times in its popularity. And the feature is both good and bad, just depending on when you apply it. Let's say that right now, concerted works were let's say there was a server that just couldn't get it done. The third one, every time it rolls around, there's never enough people to do it, and they had this system shut down. Like you said, they never would get to do it. But then when you don't have it shut down, people go to the server and they're like, fucking nerds, we're here to take over, which I saw a lot of, like, people just shitting on the world that they were visiting. Or people from the world telling the other people to get out of here. You're taking our gerbs. It's our Ishgard. They're taking our gerbs. These people from these other servers taking their gerbs from Ishgard. Yeah. There's just it's such a there's just I just want a world where people get along, and
okay, Rodney King, all right.
I want these features to work. Okay?
Can't we all just get along?
Can't we all just get along? I'm wondering if they almost like, because this is also not something they can do instances for either. That can never be the solution.
No, and that was brought up. I'm like, no instances for this.
I mean, how are they going to? Then we're rebuilding 2 or 3 Ishgards that are going to get deleted.
Right.
So this is the only solution, is to ever limit this. So I'm just wondering if the way that the world visit system had to be kind of restricted for this. I wonder if there's anything at all they can do outside of just be ready to do this again next time around.
Right. My one concern with world visit is that they restrict too much.
What else would you want them to unrestrict? I think it's pretty fair.
I mean, it's fair, but like, I don't want them to go too heavy-handed with it because there's a lot of good community stuff that people go to other servers to experience. That too. But there's a lot of good community stuff that people go to other like worlds to experience, and like I wouldn't want them to go like the heavy-handed approach and say, "Hey, well, you can't visit housing. You can't visit housing," or like shit like that. Like, which I don't think
they did say they were working on that. They did say they knew that people were going to be upset about the whole like not visiting somebody's house thing.
Right.
Or not and also not being able to go to a wedding, I think, is one of the other things they said you can't do. That they said was actually a priority to fix that. I don't know how much of a priority because we haven't had to talk about it since they announced it back at the media tour, or not the media tour, the fan fests. So how much of a priority, I don't know. But I mean, those are things they are working on removing some of those more kind of why are they there restrictions, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, okay, in regards to that stuff, I can see why you would want to cut some of the limitations out. But everything else, I think, is pretty well set. I think they did the right thing doing this emergency measure. And I don't want them to shut it down for hunts, dude. I fucking love hunts. I love going to all the worlds and get like, just all these nuts. Love it. Dude, on November 1st, I went to Sargatanis to do a Shadowbringers hunt. And I'm like, that's it. Failed no nut November. Done.
So yeah, world visit.
That's it. As soon as you hunt once in Shadowbringers areas this November, that's it. You're done.
Back in rare fucking form, happy. Thank you so much.
Well, after the construction one being an accident, I needed one on purpose. Yes. You're welcome, Sly. Thank you. No problem. You don't need to thank me so much. It's cool. I understand. All right, so with that, our 5.1 Ishgard, all of them are rebuilt at this point. Anyone else is just handing them in for scripts and rewards, or leveling, which has been sped up beyond belief in regards to crafting and gathering availability. And that's kind of been the big thing, that while it was the initial major topic of patch 5.1, the changes to crafting, gathering, desynthesis, it's been kind of secondary to Ishgard's implementation after the fact. Like, as soon as a week had gone by and people had a new macro, that's it. It was like, okay, I've got quick gathering, and I have my new macro. I'm done. I don't need to think about these anymore. But now with Ishgard, the leveling process, I don't know if it's good for the game necessarily with how quick people can level crafting and gathering now.
How so?
I don't know. I feel like just no one has to give a shit anymore.
But wait. Isn't that what you wanted? You don't give a shit to me.
No, I want them. But here's the thing. They don't have to give a shit, and they're going to be 80. It's like with desynthesis, where I was mad at them removing all the limitations and making it so everyone could do it. It's like, that means they don't have to give a shit. They'll just do it.
Coming from the person who doesn't give a shit already, who has someone.
But I also.
Who has someone he pays. He pays to fucking level him.
Yeah, but that's because I'm helping the economy. We've been over this. I'm just saying that if you have people who don't care getting their crafts up and now having access to this kind of stuff.
So what's the difference?
Everything, all the markets die. They can't, because they leveled them and then they went online and found some like crafting macro, and then they just crafted all the shit that's done. Now nothing's worth anything. There's no money to, like, the only reason I make money is because I sell fucking Cubus flesh for people making potions for scripts, the alchemics from Gosha, and map materials, because those are the three things people still have to give a shit about practically, because nobody wants to do fates. So I can make money off Cubus flesh. Nobody remembers to sell their Gosha, so I can sell my alchemics for 4,500 a piece, which you get 100 of them for. So I make 500k every 2,000 Gosha. And then I made 5 million gil off treasure maps because everyone's like, I don't have any friends to do that. Well, good. That's it. I can't make money on anything else anymore. My desynthesis markets are all crashed.
Or you get lucky on maps. or you just get lucky on maps.
Well, to be fair, we did 2 rounds of maps the other day, and on the first round, I was the only one who made it past like the first floor. I got to all 5 floors, got a shell leather, a fireglass leather, and an enchanted elm lumber, which was 200k, 2.1 mil, and 1.7 mil, plus the money from the actual map.
Yeah, what? I wouldn't want to do maps with you. I'd just be mad at you the entire fucking time because I can only get to second room.
I mean, I've also got the Dungeon Lord title from getting to the 5th floor 20 times. Now 21 times, to be fair.
Oh, 21 times. Oh, okay.
Well, if you had, I mean, you'd have as much money as I did if you got there as many times as I did. So, just saying. I'm just saying all the markets outside of those 3 suck. That's all I'm saying. It's too much. It's nice to make something accessible. So there is such a thing as too accessible. So I'm worried that this, as patches go on, this ease, and especially because we know they're not done. We know 5.2's got something else. They got something else crafting gathering wise up their sleeve for the way they're reworking stuff. There is such a thing as making things too accessible. That's all I'm saying. Especially desynthesis. Especially desynthesis.
Don't start. Don't fucking start. Don't fucking start. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You haven't lost any fucking decent levels. They're okay. You're fucking okay.
But instead of having 206 mil Sly, I could have 216 mil.
The market's not okay. But decent is okay. You're fine. Don't freak the fuck out.
Sly, if you were in my boat, you'd understand.
What if I leveled decent with before like you did? Probably. You're right. I'll give you that. But it's free decent.
Yeah, free is about how much it's worth because I can't sell it for jack shit on the market board.
I don't know about that.
Sly, I used to sell items for fucking like 8k a piece. They're 400 gil now.
Okay. All right, Daddy Warbucks.
They're
I get
400 gil now.
I get it, Daddy Warbucks.
Don't get me wrong. I can still sell like 40 of them for something that equals, I suppose, income. You could call it.
But still, you can still make a little bit of money off of decent. You can still make a little bit of money, and that's fine.
Let's just say I'm not rushing to do trust dungeons for free decent now like I was before. I'm leveling Samurai and Dragoon on Fates, because I'll make more gil selling Cubus flesh from Fates than I will desynthesizing. That's all I'm saying. All right? I just threw something out of hand motion. I don't know where it went. I don't want to low up. Listen.
Fucking privilege.
Privilege? I worked hard for those decent levels back then. Privilege would be what I want now. Yeah, Sublime Solution's about the only thing I can make gil on at this point. Alright. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Alright. But that being said, the final bit of Ishgard that Yoshida wanted to talk about is how bare bones it actually was. This patch. As you said, there are a lot of features missing, and he took the time to remind people of some of the features that will be coming later. Substantial crafting and gathering experience, as well as introduce aspects designed as endgame content. So basically saying that this implementation of Ishgard doesn't have any endgame like they initially talked about, even though Ishgard was advertised as endgame crafting gathering content from the get-go. So, going back, I don't know. Maybe they should have been something of the other things that they mentioned might be there.
As an introduction, though?
Here's the thing. You can introduce something and still let people who just got their feet wet go knee deep. Like, you don't have to only let them go ankles in.
Well, as an introduction and with changes, too. Because you got to remember, this came at the same time that
it took one day for those new macros to get me. It took one fucking day. I don't want to hear that excuse.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. One fucking day is all it took. So, we can't underestimate us, alright? So I mean, maybe it'll all be worth it in the end. I think they need to gauge not just releasing the most basic form. Add something to sink your teeth into. Just not you don't have to do everything, just something to sink your teeth into when they do new features like this.
So not only this, but relics, new diadem, things like that. They should gauge it exactly like what you're saying.
Yes.
All right.
I feel like that's fair.
It's fair. I'll give you 50% reasonable.
No, fuck your 50% bullshit.
50% reasonable. It's fair and 50% reasonable because I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, like, again, you really want it. You don't want it all at the beginning, but you want, something, worthy. And
I mean,
again,
yes, Vivi brings up a great example here in the chat. I'm going to cut you off for that. Where it's like, think about how much better Eureka would have been if we had Logos actions from the beginning.
That's because we bitched and moaned about fucking Animos and Pagos.
No.
They probably no. They probably would have kept on keeping on if we didn't bitch and moan about.
No, we know that's not true, Sly, because they said the initial idea was to have them in Animos and Pagos, and it just didn't happen that way. They wanted to keep them simple. A, it wasn't done, and B, they wanted to keep them simple. Animos I was okay with. I was chill. I didn't have to use my brain. Cool. It was just a grind. Pagos wasn't exciting. It wasn't half as exciting. I had to use my brain reluctantly in Pagos because it was boring. If I had Logos actions in Pagos, I would have had a fucking blast. Because I loved Pyros. I spent 4 fucking months in there opening treasure coffers and working on weapons and stats. And then Hydatos had BA, which I had a fucking blast with.
So if you had Pagos actions or you had Logos actions, excuse me, and
in Pagos.
Animos.
And Pagos.
No, Animos. Let's take it back a step further. Animos. If you had them in Animos, if you had them in Animos and then everything stayed the same until BA, would BA have been, as fresh or as, good of an experience?
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? It still is nothing like the rest of Eureka.
I mean, it isn't, but
like in regards to the gameplay, in regards to the gameplay loop, obviously it still uses all the elemental levels and shit like that.
Right.
I just know that specifically Pagos would have been exponentially more tolerable early on. By the time Pyros came out, Pagos was okay. That's my opinion of it. It just early on was.
But see, I feel like a lot of us fall under the whole JG Wentworth trap of it's my content and I want it fucking now.
JG Wentworth 877 content now. There you go. Much longer number.
Pretty much. Yeah, I feel like we fall under their trap every single iteration of content. And we want something new. We want something better. And
but we don't know what that thing
is. This is not me being... Yeah.
I want something new. What do you want? Well, it's your job.
Fuck. You're the fucking developer. That's your fucking job. I don't know. And a lot of us fall into that trap, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, we do. I don't know. Or have some wild off the wall idea that doesn't in any way make sense. Been down that road before. We gotta be honest. It's just, I don't know. I'm just reiterating the statement because I mean the thing we have to look forward to as we move away from Ishgard, we have to now look to 0.15. Now 0.15 is fortunately coming with something that I think we can be mostly confident in that of the Nadam. which is the new PvP map. It's based on one of their more popular PvP modes with some odd adjustments that we don't know how they'll work out yet, like the not needing to fight for a node once you own it. And also probably going to get, between the Garo event and people, I've seen a lot more people PvPing even though the Garo event is over, because of the new armor set, then a new mode should actually keep the PvP train moving fairly well for the next however many months at this point. But that's, at the very least, we know what to expect from it from people who have played PvP in this game for years. So we don't really, there's no testing ground information here, I feel, at the very least. The other thing that's happening at 0.15, though, is on the very much under scrutiny because of its initial implementation by a lot of members of the community, and that is Blue Mage. Now, I'd like to reiterate, Blue Mage was released as this is the base form of content. You will see more later. This is more, and this is later. So this is going to be where people really start to form more complete opinions. It will
they're just going to judge the shit out of it.
Well, they're going to reinforce what their previous opinion was, or they're going to change their minds. One of those two things. That's the only two possible solutions to releasing new features and content for something in Final Fantasy. And for anything, really. So, Sly, what did we get in the base form of Blue Mage? We got level 50. We got 49 out of 120 plus spells that they've told us they have in store, by the way.
We got doing Garuda like 80 fucking times.
Yeah, we got doing Garuda 80 times. And we got 25 stages for the Mass Carnival. Then if you wanted to do like Final Coil or solo a dungeon, like you could do that. But that was it. That was base form Blue Mage. All right. We are getting now the next update, and it's an undisclosed total number of spells. We probably not up to the 120 plus that we know are made, so that's probably waiting till level 70. We know we're getting 10 more levels. We know we're getting more Mass Carnival stages, and we're getting like a Wondrous Tales-esque Blue Mage log, which will challenge groups of Blue Mages to do content without use of the echo and features like that. How close is this to complete Blue Mage?
Nowhere near.
And that's my concern.
Perhaps we just talked about stretching out content, right?
That's putting it very differently, but yes.
Like, we knew this ahead of time. We knew this when they introduced Blue Mage to us at FanFest. We went in knowing this, so why would it be treated any differently? Why would you look at it any differently?
Because, again, now we can really start forming opinions about what their plans are for a limited job. Like, what is the lifespan of a limited job? We're starting to get a fuller picture of that, or at least a better idea of what that picture should look like. Now, there's no saying that Blue Mage is ever done. Even if they never do another limited job, there's still a high probability that when we go up to the next level cap, that Blue Mage will go to the level cap 10 levels under. I think it's a safe assumption that no matter what, even finished form, it's not done and can get more stuff added on. But this is the second update. It's been 5-6 months probably since Blue Mage came out. I don't remember the exact day. And I'm a bit, as someone who enjoyed it the first time around, but simply needed more things to do, I'm not 100% convinced that this is going to work out for the second update. I don't know, but I'm not convinced based on what the information they've given us.
Why are you not convinced?
I'm not convinced because they told us we were getting like hardcore Blue Mage exclusive content, and it was a challenge log to do Thornton. That's not hyper convincing to me. Sorry, it's just not. I don't know if it is to you, but it's not to me.
I accept Blue Mage as what it is. It's just, side content. It's just something, to go back and enjoy, to relive old content, relive old mechanics and moves that you've seen before and be able to use them. And it's like Blue Mage, it's a classic job. But how seriously do you take Blue Mage? Let me ask you that. How seriously?
As seriously as they'll let me take it, I think is the best answer I can give. If so, in the initial implementation at 50, as much as I could possibly do, as much as was allowed for me to do, I was willing to do. Mass Carnival, the unique achievements, which I hope there's more like that, because that was the best thing about Blue Mage in the initial update, was the actually, like, intelligently designed achievements, unlike the super grind achievements we're used to getting. And I still really hope they can find a way to do those types of achievements in other content.
Yeah.
But however, whatever it's capable of doing is what I would like to do on it. And then I'd like to push it even further. Like, I soloed Ifrit hard.
That's the thing. You are trying. Go ahead.
Soloed Ifrit hard mode. It took me 58 fucking minutes. Okay? I had to die 5 times to get 50% echo, and then I still had to kill him with 1,000 needles. 371 casts of 1,000 needles to kill that motherfucker. Alright?
You're taking this too serious.
I soloed turn 2 in Coil at level 50.
You're taking what I call, like, I call going back and doing, like, solo Dragoon shit on, like, Heaven's Ward, not Heaven's Ward, hell, fuck, Stormblood content, or like stupid shit. You're taking something that could be, like, pictured as stupid shit really serious.
So I just finished soloing all the EX Primals for Heaven's Ward.
Okay. All right.
I love doing this shit. All right.
Fun. It's fun. Like,
it is fun. It is fun. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you. I'm not lying, but you're taking it a little bit too serious. And that's what I feel like people are taking Blue Mage too fucking serious.
We're taking it as seriously as they'll let us, Sly. I can't wait for level 70 Blue Mage to do Ukam.
Calm your tits. Contain the calamity that is your memories. Like, it's not that fucking serious. It's Blue Mage.
And maybe that's the problem. People want it to be. They don't want. People don't want to learn the job.
It's not going to be. It is a limited fucking job. They have said such.
That's the reality of it, but that's not what people's dreams tell them. Which
Okay. Thank you. So Invictus, I'm glad you say that. You know who wants to take this fucking seriously? People who came from 11.
I came from 11. I don't want that shit. That shit sucked. I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but like doing it sucked. Getting it prepared sucked. Once you were there, it was like whatever. Cool. Good job, man.
Call a fucking spade a spade. It is not a serious job. I'm not gonna call it. I wouldn't go as far. I wouldn't go as far to call it a joke or something like, I don't know, Lords of Verminion. Like, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't.
Hey man, I still deliberately win 50-second matches 5 times a week to get my gold saucer. How dare you? That's at times longer than it takes me to do the Mass Carnival every week. It can be.
I wouldn't go that far. But again, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. Calm your tits.
Like, so here's what's going to happen with Blue Mage for me at 60, all right?
Okay.
All right, you ready for this? So I'm going to level it from 50 to 60. Good news will be 1,000 needles will not be effective for that. Monsters have too much health. So using the skills you've already picked up, going back and learning the old skills, good idea now. Level 50 to 60, go and learn whatever it is they give us. Now, they have told us, and this excites me probably more than anything else they said about Blue Mage, in that they are going to give Blue Mages more tools that make them actually able to take on roles with other Blue Mages in like an all Blue Mage scenario. So like, yes, they had Mighty Guard and White Wind before, but they said that things that more exemplify your ability to be a tank, a healer, or a DPS will be present. There are a bunch of abilities that makes sense to learn from monsters, but we don't know how that's actually going to be achieved. But that's good news. I think that's good news because when I hit 60, I'm going to learn every ability. Hopefully that gets me my Malboro mount, which I 100% need to get because that is definitely going to be coming from Blue Mage based on what we saw from the last live letter. I'm going to fucking do all 12 Alexander Savages. I'm going to do all the EX Primals, do all the Blue Mage log, do all the Mass Carnival, and then go back and solo level 50 EX Primals as level 60 Blue Mage. And then I'm going to solo as many of the level 60 dungeons as I can on Blue Mage. That's my plan. Then what?
That's the answer. Like, that's the question, excuse me. Then what?
Where's my Palace of the Dead, Sly? Where is it? If it's not there, I'm going to be furious.
You are making your own content with Blue Mage. You are doing your own stupid shit with Blue Mage. You are getting mileage out this. You are getting mileage out of something I think you didn't expect to get mileage out of. And is that a safe
more
assumption?
Mileage. More. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So as much as I'm someone who doesn't need it to be a full job, I'm not someone who's going to advocate that it needs to be that. Myself and the people who do share one thing in common. We want more mileage.
Okay. All right. And I'll give you that. I'm not saying, okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's like Blue Mage as a whole is unsuccessful. It's not, like, again, it's not on the level of Lords of Verminion.
Diadem has literally been shut down, as a reminder. Blue Mage yet to be shut down.
Exactly. So there are people who do this content, but at the same time, like, the reason I keep saying don't take it too seriously, because these are the same people who had higher expectations in the very beginning. The same people who were at FanFest and who had the lukewarm reception when it was brought up then. That's why I'm saying this.
I don't know what the point is. They feel that way, yeah, but you can't. I mean, I'm not gonna take it less. I want more. Sly, I want more. Please, sir.
Okay.
And I'm still not convinced that the reason they gave for it not being a limited job works. They said it again. Now this is something even in this patch I won't have judged, where they say it's going to be too strong. That was not true at 50. I'm curious to see how close it comes to being true at 60, and then even more so when we learn however many more spells they still have on the docket at 70. There's no way we learn like 80, 90 spells this time. It's probably going to be around the same number as what we learned in 1 to 50. So with that, we can pretty safely assume that the remaining and who knows, if we only learn, like, let's say we learned like 20 something new abilities here, then they'd have me convinced they have it planned all the way up to 80, which would blow my fucking mind, because then we have to have the discussion about, well, if they have it planned up to 80, why didn't they just really make it 80?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just take some of the wheels off. Let us do a little bit more with them. You know, give us Palace of the Dead. If you know what? I say fuck it. Let them into fucking roulettes that are only available to their level and lower. Fuck it. I don't care. Let them fucking cast Doom on the last boss of Sastasha. What the fuck do I care? I kill that thing in fucking 4 seconds anyway.
Treat it like logograms is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, fuck it. Just honestly, I wish they would do. This is gonna sound really weird, Sly, so please let me finish. Okay. I kind of wish they'd give Blue Mage the Eureka treatment. Meaning, it's its own thing, go nuts. Like, if they want to make it...
That doesn't sound weird to me. That doesn't sound weird to me.
Okay, good.
Okay, all right, finish.
Like, honestly, if they want to make it so the weapon has no stats, but, like, you can do the dungeon log, and you can, like, get random, like, Eureka... You know, like, Eureka effects have, like, Elemental Plus and, like, Haste and shit. Like, fuck it. Just throw that on the weapon. Make it its own bullshit that doesn't make sense in Final Fantasy XIV. Because it already doesn't. Just do that. Just make it so, like, I can augment shit with, like, different Blue Mage, and then the next time I level, I've got a lot of stuff, and I don't know, like, it's pointless, but I do it. Go nuts. Just say go nuts, man.
Yeah. Like, and I don't doubt you, like, I don't, like, discount you for that. I agree with you. Let them go nuts, because it's content, like, it's content that won't be caught up to current content. At least we think. Like you said, we don't know if they're going to take it all the way to 80.
Even if they do, I don't think they take it to 80 until we're 90. That's the truth.
Probably. Agreed. So, yeah, go nuts with it.
Fuck it.
Again,
They need to just go nuts. Just go nuttier.
I kind of have to preface this. When I say stupid shit, I'm not like saying like it's dumb as fuck. Again, we do dumb as fuck shit all the fucking time in the game. Like we solo shit, we solo dungeons, we solo fucking primals. It's stupid shit, but it's fucking fun. So I'm not saying the job as a whole is fucking stupid.
Well, other people are.
Yeah, other people are.
Just to be clear, you might not be.
Just to clarify,
they are.
Yeah, them bitches over there are.
I'm just saying we have that to anticipate. I don't know if we'll hear about it from the next live letter, if it'll happen before, if it'll be out before the next live letter. But that's just what we're anticipating now that we're looking past 5.11, Ultimate, Ishgard. Now we have to look towards the next thing, and then we have to start looking towards 5.2, which is probably not till sometime in February, if we were to take a shot in the dark at that right now.
Yep.
Now, speaking of the next live letter, before we wrap up the show, we should probably remind everyone that we have one coming up. And I don't think anyone remembers that we have one coming up. They are doing... So you know how normally August they do that 14-hour broadcast to celebrate the anniversary?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they are doing it December 14th.
The fucking day I move.
That's my mom's birthday. I'll be like, happy birthday, Mom. I'm going to go watch people speaking Japanese with no subtitles, so I don't know what they're saying at all.
Well, till the live letter, and then we'll get translations.
Yeah, I mean, there'll probably be translations for a lot of it, but like if I'm watching it live without that, I'm just like, that looks cool.
Yeah,
That's as much information as I can get. Unless they do slides in English, then I can understand. And they do that very often, but not during.
They do that.
Not during the whole 14-hour broadcast. That's like something they just do for the live letter. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we are supposed to get a live letter at some point during that 14-hour broadcast like we normally do. But the question is, what would it even be about? Because, so, let's go down prediction lane here. Let's take a stroll down prediction lane.
Okay.
So normally, 0.11 patches are 2 weeks after the main patch, which held true this time. It's then it's usually 4 more weeks after that for a total of 6 weeks for a 0.15. We've had one .x5 patch be different, and I think it was the one that happened when, like, I think the 15 event came out, and then 0.15 came like a week or two later than that. I think that was the only one we've ever had delayed past 6 weeks. I'm probably wrong, but that's all I can remember. So if that were the case, Sly, it has officially been 4 weeks. We would be getting it in 2 weeks from today, theoretically, which is days before. So do you think that they make it 3 weeks from now and just talk about it during the live letter? Or what the hell's the live letter going to be about if they don't do that?
Maybe they shock us because it is the 14-hour broadcast. Maybe
I don't think I've ever been shocked from the 14-hour broadcast. They just chill. They have a good time.
They have a good time, but like they know we expect shit.
Yeah, but they always know that. It doesn't change it. We always expect things and they never happen.
They know we expect shit. Yeah.
Just because they know Sly doesn't mean they magically have something for us.
Oh, okay, so what's one thing you expect? What's the one thing you would hope to see in the live letter?
The only thing I think that makes sense is to do 0.15 the week after.
No. That doesn't make sense. Like, that doesn't make sense. What's one thing you want to see?
5.2 stuff, but that won't happen. It's too early. We won't have that until probably January.
Not even one aspect.
I mean, they make passing comments about patches. Like, they said Ishgard 5.2. They didn't do a thing on Ishgard in 5.2. They just told us 5.2 Ishgard will have diadem rework, gathering stuff. But it's not gonna be like a 5.2 live letter. It's too early.
No, it's not. But like you say, they say some things in passing. Like, I want to know what our next set of primals are going to be. I want to know what our next set of primals.
That's a 5.2 thing, though.
No. It's the storyline, like where it could possibly go. Because
they can't tell us the storyline without us knowing what the bosses are going to be.
No, not telling us the bosses. We had 4 lords. We had the what was it? We had 4 lords, warring triad. Like,
and a Realm Reborn doesn't have a theme.
No, it doesn't, because it's a realm reborn. So I kind of want to know what the theme, like, I kind of want them to hint at what the theme would be for our new, primal story.
You know, it'd be really fucked up if it was the 4 dungeon light wardens we fought, but like beefed the fuck up. I don't think that'd be a good idea. But...
I don't think that would be it. That's
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing an idea out there because I have no fucking idea.
That's what I would want. That's what I would want. Just saying, that's what I would want.
You know, I know what I want. Tell me Blue Mage can go into Palace of the Dead. How about that? If Blue Mage can solo Palace of the Dead, you've just created hundreds of hours of content for me. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do it as Red Mage. And yes, while someone has soloed it on a couple of other jobs, that one person, I believe it's Angelus. I never remember the second name. That person's a fucking monster of soloing Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High. They are literal gods. Somebody give me the full name. I know somebody has the full name. Somebody knows.
Become as gods.
I feel like the word demon is in there. Somebody knows the solo god for Heaven on High and Palace of the Dead. I'm not that guy. I want to do Blue Mage. I want to do Blue Mage. So he'd still be the first person to beat it on Palace of the Dead. It wasn't even him who did it. My word. There's more than one of them. Angelus Demonis. That person's a fucking god. Every time I see them tweet that they're doing solos, I'm like, I'm never going to be as good as them. At Heaven on High and Palace of the Dead. They're so good. They're so good. I don't know, Sly. I have low expectations for the next live letter. Unless the 0.15 patch is after. And even then, like, I don't know how much there is to say outside of, like, logging in and showing Blue Mage, showing off some of the new animations, maybe highlight an icon here or there, reiterate the features we already know are coming, maybe make a new announcement, maybe, like, give us an actual UI look at the Blue Mage log or something. That's it. That's all I can possibly expect.
Okay.
But I want Palace of the Dead for Blue Mage. If I don't get it, I'm going to baby rage.
Okay.
The one who sold Palace of the Dead on different jobs is Ellithia. I think I've seen that name as well. Ellithia. That's it. And with that, we then have to wait for 5.2. And in 5.2, Sly, I've already got some shit planned out. I'm going to solo a 10, 11, and 6 in 5.2. Those are the remaining ones I think are soloable. Maybe 8. 8's still a maybe, but I think we might need more we might need another expansion before 8's soloable. So, we'll see. That's a big maybe. I've figured it all out. I think I've mapped the whole thing out, but I think I need more than just an item level increase.
Yeah.
I like soloing, Sly. It's fun.
Yeah, who doesn't? Again, we love stupid shit.
I love stupid shit. It's amazing.
We all love stupid shit.
Savage 8. Trust me, I've worked it out. I think Savage 8 is possible to do solo, just not at this item level. All right. But no fishing. Nothing fishing related. That's one thing I don't want. Nothing fishing related.
Bring me all the fishing related shit. Don't even worry about it.
You never get your tackle box.
Get that to me. I don't give a shit about that. I gave up on that long time ago, man. Come on now.
No, you do care. Don't lie to me.
I gave up.
All right, and with that, Sly, I think we've covered pretty much everything we're going to get through this week without an Eorzivia, unless Ethys pops up and he's like, tell me this.
Ooh.
Who?
Before we go into
outros?
Before we go into outros and everything, work on that real quick. Quick announcement. Stelatio Virtual Theater. Who Zay, who used to be of a Stage Reborn, Zainaba.
We've had them on the show.
We had them on the show. She's a part of Stelatio Virtual Theater. And in December 6th, 7th, and 8th, they will be doing a production of A Starlight Carol. And that will be on Diablo, Sun Crystal. And hopefully Haps has the picture of the...
I can't. Well, I'm window capturing I can't grab it. You'd have to post it in the Twitch chat for me to get it.
That's fine.
Post it in the Twitch chat and I can pull it up. I know you put it in Discord, but because I'm window capturing it, we've already had the Greyon situation. We don't need anything. Crayon, that was great.
They're having a production of a Starlight Carol, December 6th, 7th, and 8th. So if you have an alt on Crystal or you are already on Crystal, Celestio does really amazing productions, and I'm really looking forward to this one because it chroma. So Merry Chroma. All of my chroma shit.
Here, let me. I've almost got it up to after you're completely done talking about it. There we go. Chroma. Friday the 6th and Sunday the 8th. Oh, Friday the 6th and through Saturday the 7th, and then Sunday the 8th through Sunday the 8th. Yes, they got a bunch of different times. Ward 9, Plot 5. Mercrum. I haven't been to a Stage Reborn show in a while. A good long while. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to this one because I'm already in the Chroma spirit. So, like, I already love in-game productions like this, and I'm in the Chroma spirit. Y'all should be in the Chroma spirit too. So, yeah. Where are the tickets? You just go.
Just show up at the door and follow instructions.
Show up at the door. Like, there might be a line. These productions are pretty popular, so they usually do several showings a night. Like maybe 2 or 3. They might do 3 showings. I don't want to say.
We can't say it. They've crammed extra showings in to meet the demand in the past, but that's not to say there will be a set number of them. So just go and hope that you get there early if you want to see it. They do a fantastic job.
And even if you do miss it, even if you're not able to like actually show up on scene or on server, they always do stream it, and then they always put the VODs or the show itself on YouTube. So you have options.
Yes. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to make a character to go there, but if you do, you can be there in game and not just have to watch it through Twitch, which is always nice. You can mess with your own camera a little bit, get some angles, maybe throw some G pose on, get your own dramatic retelling every time a new scene comes up. Oh. You can make your own adventure on top of their adventure already being quite fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't been to a Celestio show. I've only been to the Stage Reborn shows, but I know the quality of.
So you didn't go. You didn't see.
No, I haven't seen one since the last one that we talked about on Stay in the Realm. But I can tell you that the production value is quite high and quite enthralling for what they can do in game, and it's only gotten better as time has gone on and more tools have been made available. So. It's definitely worth seeing the creativity, and besides, it's always great to have the community making their own content with the tools that are available in the game, and to invite people to as many people as possible to participate. So, I have actually, you want to know the exact days I'm not going to be home in December? The 6th through the 8th. The exact, actually, yeah, I thought maybe the 5th. No, literally, 6, 7, and 8, I literally will not be home those exact 3 days. I come back on the 9th.
I will fucking be there.
Come back on
I will be the representation for Stay of the Realm.
I can watch it on Twitch, though. That I still can do. That I can absolutely still do. So, I just think it's funny that I looked at the days, I'm like, yeah, of course I'll go. Oh. Didn't work out. So
they actually have a trailer up. So if you
that has voice acting.
It has voice acting. Yeah. Don't expect that in game though.
No, it doesn't work like that. The best you might get is someone going, yeah, and I don't think it works like that. All right. Anyway, with that, Sly, I think we're good to wrap up the show for the week. Now, as for the next week's show, I'll see if Eorzivia is possible. But again, Ethys is. His move is it's taken up a lot of his time, and he still has his own schedule with his stream when he's available. So we got to make sure he's comfortable with that. But if not, we'll try to figure something else out. We'll see if we have any more information by then, and if not, we can always come up with some bullshit. We've done it in the past. So wish for Ethys to have an overall easy move. And with that, Sly, I think it's time we signed off. Now, we did mention at the start of the show that we do have sponsors for the show. And one of those sponsors are our patrons who have been supporting us over on Patreon for quite some time. Tons of patrons. Their names have been scrolling in the top right. I will have to adjust that list going into next week because it will be the top of the month again. But we, of course, have our patrons of darkness as well. We have Khuja on Jenova and Kurenai Oni, who have both been fairly absent from the recent shows, but are still awesome all the same. So that's Khuja Cross from Jenova. And we also have, why won't it let me switch? We also have Kurenai Oni. There we go. Who still have the same pictures. And we have the Ethys one, Sly, because I couldn't find yours. So he gets to be I will find it.
Good.
I will find it again. Good. So thank you to our patrons and, of course, our patrons of Darkness for going above and beyond. We love you. We'll love you. Sly thumbs up even though he's not on screen. So now you can do it again, Sly. There you go. That was a way more enthusiastic thumbs up than he gave the first time because now we know new people were watching. Okay. And with that, Sly, why don't you tell everyone what you've been up to and what you've got on the docket, my friend?
Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, Akagreyfox, Instagram, Slyakagreyfox, Twitter is Slythefox, Facebook, Slyakagreyfox, YouTube.com/TheVelvetRoom. Tonight, we're going to do something completely different. I'm going to try to get into Monster Hunter Frontier because it only has 1 month left before the servers actually shut off unless somebody takes over server hosting duty. So I'm going to try to get into Monster Hunter Frontier and see what that was about and everything. And as you know, Frontier only came out in China, I think. So, I already have a English patch, even though it doesn't patch everything in English, but I'll be trying that. And of course, this week is Thanksgiving, so this is the excuse to eat a lot of fucking food and get fucking fat and everything, and then go shopping on Black Friday if you choose to, or if you can wait on Cyber Monday and everything. But yeah, I'll probably be playing the Pokemans on Black Friday. So yeah, that's what you have to look forward to. And Happy, I can see what you're looking forward to, but what do you got going on, Happy?
Giggity. Without you being able to see me, that's giggity right there. Hi, everyone. You can find me, Mr. Happy1227, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And my life has been Final Fantasy XIV and this bad boy right here, Ring Fit. Day 24 was today. Tomorrow will be day 25. And I'm almost done with the base story before I go into post-game. And I've been enjoying the hell out of this. So this is definitely going to be something that will be fairly normal for the post-Final Fantasy 14 hours on stream for quite some time. We got new emotes in the work on Twitch. New holiday ones, some new ones all together. One of them is Aloha in a gift box. So that's always cool. And one of them's a sad Aloha. And then one of them is me with $signs. So remember, type ! Steel Series, or if you're in YouTube, go to Steel Series, because that way I have an excuse to use that emote. And it supports the channel and the stream and a lot of other stuff. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the next few. I'll actually be in New Jersey the weekend of Thanksgiving, so I can't guarantee any streams from Friday through Monday. I am going to visit my family for Thanksgiving. Well, I guess after Thanksgiving, just going to see them for the holidays and my 10-year high school reunion. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm already gonna be there. I might as well go to it, I figure. And what else do I have? And also my mother's birthday is 2 weeks after that, so I'm going to visit her. So I'll be visiting her early for her birthday. So I can't guarantee that I'll be even doing bullshit live streams from New Jersey. So keep an eye out. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But that's what my plans are for the upcoming Thanksgiving weekend. Anyway, no, I'm not streaming the reunion. Dude, I should tell them to let me plug in my PC to there's a giant sports TV in the place where they rent it out. I'd be like, yo, let me hook that up. I'll play some 14. I'll stream on the big TV. There we go. That could be the plan. And with that, Sly, I think we're ready to wrap up for the week. And hopefully we have an Eorzivia next week. If not, no worries to Ethys. I just want him to have a safe move. That's all that matters.
Yes, please.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of State of the Realm. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And if you want to check out the audio-only version, don't forget it is on iTunes and Android. And SoundCloud directly. So all those will give you an audio-only version if you would prefer that. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll do a short post show, and then we will see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
See you next week.